Good morning, children. Last class I had told you people to prepare for symbols of elements as well as what are elements, compounds, atoms and molecules. Now first you have test, then we will start the lesson. So write the symbols of elements. So for first 10 minutes you copy the questions, pause the video and then write the answer. Afterwards I will discuss the answers with you. I hope you understood what I am telling is you people first copy the questions, write down the answers, copy the questions, then pause the video and write the answers, then I will discuss. Copy the questions now and then pause the video. Okay, now I hope you people have written the answers correctly. Let us discuss them. Symbol of oxygenous capital O, chlorinous Cl, sodium is Na, calcium Ca, zinc Zn, phosphorus P, aluminium Al, iron Fe, isn't it? Now write the names of the elements. Sorry, I have repeated this now. Make it manganese. I didn't see. Make it manganese. K means potassium. Mg is magnesium. Sn means tin. Ag means silver. Cu means copper. Ar means argon. S means sulfur. Mn means manganese. If you have written all the answers correctly, then okay. Suppose six are right, 2 are wrong, means which are wrong you write down, but once again you go through them, the symbols of elements. But if more than 2 there are wrong, okay, write all the symbols, whatever I have given, write all the symbols of elements, okay, twice. 2 times you write down without C. Did you people understand this? And now, right, we have discussed though that it is the same. Okay, I hope you people understood. If all are right, no problem. If 2 are wrong, you just go through the symbols of elements. Suppose if more than 2 there are wrong are there. Suppose 3, 4, 5 wrongs are there in each. That time all the symbols of elements write twice. Okay, your rough note. And now answer the following. What are elements? Give examples. What are elements? Elements are substances that are made up of same kinds of atoms like oxygen, hydrogen, sulfur, metals like sodium, potassium, etc. What are compounds? Compounds are substances that are made up of different kinds of atoms, isn't it? Examples. Can you give me examples like water, carbon dioxide, then sulfur dioxide, ammonia, methane, etc. What are atoms and molecules? Atoms are smallest particles of element, isn't it? Whereas molecules, the smallest particle of element or compound that have independent existence. If you have not written the answers for this, each answer you write down 5 times. I hope you people you should be honest. If you are not honest, then you are only put to trouble. You are cheating yourself, right? So I hope you people are honest, and this is very important part, symbols of elements. So for God's sake, it's loud and clear. You should know the symbols of elements. So If you don't know this, now further what I'm going to do the lesson, you don't follow that. You don't follow the lesson. So please go through the names of elements and symbols of elements. It is very important for those who have not taken it seriously, not studied, wasting all your time. If you are doing that, you will be put to trouble, right? So strictly I am telling you, very seriously I am telling you, be prepared for the symbols of elements, as well as you should know what are elements and compounds and what are atoms and molecules. That is the basic part. Okay, now we will come to the lesson. We start with the materials, metals and non-metals. When we say materials, when I say materials that are classified into two types. Materials that are classified into two types. What are they? Metals and non-metals. Materials that are classified into two types, metals and non-metals. Okay, today we will be discussing about the physical properties of metals and non-metals, as well as we also discuss the uses. First, can you give me examples of metals? First we study metals, then we come to non-metals. Can you give me, before starting the lesson, okay, whatever I write on the board, okay, you are going to copy, keep a separate rough note for chemistry and bio. Keep a separate notebook for chemistry and bio. You can write both in the same notebook. Okay, keep a separate rough note for chemistry and bio. And you are going to, whatever I write on the board, you are going to copy it in your rough note. Did you people understand? And you go through it so that you will understand it easily. Okay. I had also told this in my last class. Now, coming to physical examples for metals. Okay, first let us take the examples of metals. Okay, like silver, gold, aluminium, copper. Then can you name other metals? Magnesium, calcium, zinc, then sodium, potassium, cobalt, chromium. Then can you name me the other metals? Mercury, right? Mercury, tin, etc. are all examples of metals. There are many more metals. I have given few examples now. Okay, so silver, gold, aluminium, copper, magnesium, calcium, zinc, sodium, potassium, cobalt, chromium, mercury, tin, etc. are all examples of metals. Okay, now we will study the properties of metals. Now today we will be discussing about the physical properties of metals, and next class we will be discussing about the chemical properties of metals. So note down these examples in your rough note. I don't know whether your people have got your textbooks or not. I hope you have got your textbooks. Now, physical properties of metals. Physical properties of metals. Okay, first, when you take iron, aluminium, silver, okay, how are these metals? Are they hard or brittle? They are hard, isn't it? So, generally, metals are hard. Generally, metals are hard. Okay, there is exceptional. Should write down this also. What is this exceptional? Sodium and potassium. Sodium and potassium. Okay, they are called as soft metals. Okay, why sodium and potassium they are called as soft metals? Because they are so soft that they can be cut through the knife. Okay, so generally metals are hard, but there are exceptions. Okay, what are that? Is sodium and potassium. They are called as soft metals. Okay, because they are so soft that they can be cut through the knife. Okay, I hope you people, some of them were not following my handwriting. Okay, next, metals. They are generally metals. They are solids. Generally, metals are solids. Okay, exceptional. Exceptional is mercury, which is liquid. Mercury, which is liquid at room temperature. Okay, generally metals are solids. Exceptional is mercury. Mercury is a liquid at room temperature. Metals are malleable. Metals are malleable. Okay, what do you mean by telling malleable? See here, you people have no aluminium foils, you know. Aluminium foils, you know. And as well as you take tablets, no? That outer thing, that is also made up of aluminium only, isn't it? So, if you take example of aluminium foil, okay, how aluminium foil is aluminium sheet. Okay, how you have obtained what do you understand from that aluminium sheet? Okay, metals can be beaten into sheets. Malleable means beaten into sheets. Okay, the property of metals being beaten into sheets is called as malleability. Do people understand this? Metals, they can be, if you take example of aluminium foil, okay, what do you understand? Okay, aluminium, it can be beaten into thin sheet, isn't it? So that means what? What is malleable? Malleability, the property of metals being beaten into thin sheets. Being beaten into thin sheets is called as malleability. So metals are malleable. Metals are malleable means they can be hammered or beaten into thin sheets. This property is called as malleability. Next, ductility. Sorry, metals are ductile. Metals are ductile. Metals are ductile. You know copper wires, you know aluminium wires. You know you have seen electric wires, isn't it? If you remove the insulation, you obtain copper wire in it, isn't it? You know even aluminium wires. So what do you understand from this? Okay. Metals, they can be drawn into wires. Metals can be drawn into wires, isn't it? Once again I'll repeat. And this property of metals is called as ductility. Okay. Metals can be drawn into wires. This property of metals is called as ductility. Okay, once again, see people have no electric wires you have seen. If you remove the insulation, what do you find inside? You find copper wire. Okay, from this, what do you know? You also know aluminium wires, isn't it? So what do you understand from this? Metals can be drawn into wires. This property of metals is called as ductility. So do people understand this? So ductile means drawn into wires. Drawn into wires. Okay, so the property of metals being drawn into wires is called as ductility. Next, fifth one. Generally, metals are lustrous. Generally, metals are lustrous. Lustrous means what? They are shining. Metals are shining. Did you people understand? Lustrous means shining. You people know gold, silver, aluminium, iron. They are shining. They have shiny appearance, isn't it? So we tell metals are lustrous. Lustrous means they have shining appearance. Did you people understand this? Next, sonorous. Sonorous. See, if you take examples of metals like aluminium, silver, copper, okay. If you hit, they produce ringing sound, isn't it? If you hit on them, they produce ringing sound, isn't it? So we tell metals are sonorous. That means produce ringing sound. Did you people understand this? Metals are sonorous. Okay, if you take an example of aluminium, iron, okay, or copper, if you hit on them, they produce ringing sound. So metals are sonorous. Next, metals, they are good conductors of heat and electricity. Heat and electricity. Good conductors of heat and electricity means what? Good conductors of heat, when I say, okay, they allow heat to pass through them. Okay, if, for example, if you touch aluminium utensils or copper utensils, okay, you people know we cook the food in the aluminium utensils or stainless steel, isn't it? Or copper also. So if you touch after heating, if you touch the utensils, you feel hot. Why? Because they allow heat to pass through them. Okay, so we tell metals, they are good conductors of heat. Once again, I will say, for example, if we cook food, okay, generally in the copper utensils, stainless steel or aluminium, isn't it? When you cook the food, that time if you touch the utensils, okay, it will be hot, isn't it? Why they are hot? Because they allow heat to pass through them, isn't it? That is, they are good conductors of heat. Okay. And you people know, just now we discussed aluminium wires, copper wires. Okay, I told you, in electric wires, which they are made up of copper wire or aluminium wires, isn't it? So, what do you understand from this? They allow electricity to pass through them, isn't it? Why we use copper wires or aluminium wires in electrical connections? Why? Because they allow electricity to pass through them, isn't it? So, metals, they are good conductors of heat and electricity. When I say good conductors of heat, they allow heat to pass through them. That is why we tell they are good conductors of heat. Okay, metals, they are good conductors of electricity. Why? Because they allow electricity to pass through them. Okay, so we tell that metals are good conductors of electricity. Next, they have high melting point. They have high melting point. They have high melting point. What do you mean by telling melting point? The temperature at which substance melts, starts to melt, okay, is called as melting point. Okay. What is melting point? The temperature at which the substance starts to melt, we call as melting point. Okay, generally, these metals, since they are hard and strong, they have high melting point. Okay, except there is one exceptional is gallium. Gallium, it is a metal. Okay, it will melt even on our hand only. Only that is the exceptional. Okay, all the general metals, they have high melting point. Exceptional is gallium. Okay, gallium, it does not have high melting point. Okay, it will even melt on our hands. Okay, so it has low melting point. That is gallium. Okay, I hope you people understood. Now, once again, we revise them. Metals, that generally metals are hard. Okay, you people know the generally metal. You know, aluminium, iron, copper. They all are hard, isn't it? So metals, they are hard. Exceptional is sodium and potassium. Sodium and potassium, they're called as soft metals. Okay, why? Because they are so soft that they can be cut through the knife. Okay, next, metals, they are generally solids. Metals, they are generally solids. Exceptional is mercury. Mercury, it is a liquid at room temperature. So, name a metal which is a liquid at room temperature means it is mercury. Okay, which is used in thermometers, you people know. Okay, next, metals that are malleable. You could have seen aluminium foil, which is used in packaging, which is used in food packaging, isn't it? Okay, the aluminium foil, it is very thin. From this we conclude that aluminium can be beaten into thin sheets, isn't it? So metals can be beaten into thin sheets. This property of metals being beaten into thin sheets is called as malleability. Metals, so metals are malleable. Next, metals are ductile. If people know copper wires, you have seen aluminium wires. Okay, that means metals, they can be drawn into wires. This property of metals being drawn into wires is called as ductility. The property of metals being drawn into wires is called as ductility. Hope you people understood. Next one, metals that are lustrous. Okay, you know gold, silver, aluminium, copper, they have a shining appearance. So metals that are lustrous, that means they are shining. Next, they are sonorous. Metals that are sonorous. Okay, that is they produce ringing sound on hitting. Okay, they produce ringing sound on hitting. So we tell that metals are sonorous. Okay, because they produce ringing sound on hitting. Next, the metals, they are good conductors of both heat and electricity. Metals, they are good conductors of heat. That means they allow heat to pass through them. For example, we cook food in the copper utensils, aluminium or stainless steel, isn't it? Okay, after we cook the food, if you touch the utensils, you can see they are hot. Why they are hot? Because they allow heat to pass through them, isn't it? That is, they are good conductors of heat. Okay, you know, just now we discussed electric wires, isn't it? They are made up of copper wires and aluminium wires, isn't it? That means why they are used, copper wires and aluminium wires, they are used in electrical connections because they allow electricity to pass through them. Okay, since they allow electricity to pass through them, we tell they are good conductors of electricity. So metals are good conductors of electricity. Why? Because they allow electricity to pass through them. We repeat the example, copper wire and aluminium wire. Next, eighth one, metals, they generally have high melting point. Okay, I told you melting point means the temperature at which the substance starts to melt. We call as melting point. Okay, they have generally metals, they have high melting point, exceptional as gallium. Gallium has low melting point. Okay, so low that it will melt even on our hand. Next, we come to non-metals. Non-metals. First we discuss examples, then we come to the physical properties. For example, carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen. Can you give me other examples? Carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, then phosphorus, then helium, argon, iodine, chlorine, etc. are all examples of non-metals. Carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, phosphorus, helium, argon, iodine, chlorine, etc. Bromine. They all are examples of non-metals. Did you people understand this? But some of them, you people write it, give wrong examples of non-metals. For example, some people will give examples like plastic. No, it is not an example of non-metal. Some people give example of rubber. It is not an example of non-metal. Did you people understand this? Okay, they all are not examples of non-metals. You should know this. Please don't give examples like plastic, rubber for non-metals. They are examples of non-metals. They are carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, phosphorus, helium, argon, iodine, chlorine, etc. So now whatever I have given the list of elements, okay, we try to classify them into metals and non-metals. Okay, I have given many examples. You will come to know now, isn't it? I hope you people copied the examples. If you have not copied, pause the video and copy the examples. I hope you people copied the properties what I wrote. Whatever I wrote on the board, you copy it because it will be whatever everything will not be there in your textbook, and I will write it point wise also. It will be easier for you people to read. Isn't it? So now next coming to physical properties. Physical properties of non-metals. First one, they are just the opposite of metals. For example, metals are generally hard, but whereas non-metals, they are brittle. They are brittle means what? They break easily. Brittle means they break easily. For example, if you take example of coal. Coal you people know. Sulfur. It is a yellow in color. Sulfur, it is yellow in color. Okay, so coal you know. It contains carbon, isn't it? So if you take example of coal or sulfur, okay, they break easily into form a powdery substance, isn't it? They break down easily to form a powdery substance. So non-metals, they are brittle. That is, they break down to form powder substance. But exceptional is diamond. Okay, diamond. It is you people know there are two forms of which are the two forms of carbon. There are two forms, diamond and see, diamond, graphite. Okay, this is crystalline form. This is amorphous. That means it is powdered form. Okay, there are which is the crystalline form of carbon means it is diamond. Which is the amorphous form of carbon means it is graphite. Okay, both are made up of carbon only. Okay, but the crystalline form of carbon is diamond. Amorphous, the powder. Amorphous means powder. It will not have definite shape. Okay, powdered form. Amorphous means powdered form. Okay, amorphous form is of carbon is graphite. Did people understand? So diamond, it is the hardest substance known to us. We people know, right? Diamond, it is the hardest substance known. Which is the hardest non-metal means it is diamond. Okay, it is the hardest non-metal. Okay, diamond, it is the hardest non-metal. Next, how do they, metals, they are generally solids except mercury, which is in liquid state. But these non-metals, they exist in all the three states. Exist in all the three states. Okay, for example, if you take carbon, it is in solid state. Okay, chlorine, it is yellow, greenish yellow gas. Bromine, it is in liquid state at room temperature. Okay, carbon, chlorine, bromine, they all are examples of non-metals, isn't it? So they exist, non-metals, they exist in all the three states. That is, they exist in all the three states. Solid, liquid, or gas. Did you people understand this? Hope you people understood. See, carbon exists in solid state, chlorine, gaseous state, it's a greenish yellow gas. Then if you take bromine, it is in liquid state. Okay. So the non-metals, they exist in all the three states, solid, liquids, or gas. Next. They are not ductile. They are not malleable. They are not malleable. They are not malleable means they cannot be beaten into thin sheets. Okay? Non-metals, since they are brittle, okay, since they are brittle, they break easily to form a powdered substance. Okay? They cannot be beaten into thin sheets. Non-metals, they cannot be beaten into thin sheets. So they are not malleable. Next one. They are not ductile. Okay, they are not ductile means they cannot be drawn into thin wires. Okay, not ductile means they cannot be drawn into wires. Next. Fifth one, they are not lustrous. Okay, generally if you take carbon, sulfur, they all have a dull surface. Are they shining? No, isn't it? They have dull surface, isn't it? So they are not non-metals, they are not lustrous. isn't it? That means they do not have shiny appearance, except iodine. Iodine, it is shiny. Iodine, it is shiny. Did you people understand? Metals, they are not lustrous. That is, they do not have shiny appearance, except iodine. Iodine is lustrous. Next, they are not sonorous. That is, they are not sonorous, means they do not produce the ringing sound on hitting. Okay, non-sonorous means they do not produce a ringing sound on hitting. Next, bad conductors of heat and electricity. Okay, that is the non-metals, they are bad conductors of heat, means they do not allow heat to pass through them easily. Okay, then they are bad conductors of electricity, means they do not allow electricity to pass through them easily. Okay, so now exceptional is there, except graphite. Graphite, as I told, it is a amorphous form of carbon, but graphite is a good conductor of electricity. Though it is a form of carbon, okay, it will conduct electricity. It is a good conductor of electricity. Okay, this one you should know, children. It's not there in your textbook. You should know this. Next, these are the 7 points. Once again, non-metals, they are brittle. Okay, that means they break easily to form powdered substance. If you take coal, sulfur, okay, they break easily to form a powdered substance, except diamond. Diamond, it is a hardest non-metal. In fact, diamond is the hardest substance known. Okay, and they exist in all the 3 states: solids, liquids, and gas. For example, carbon or sulfur, they exist in solid state. Bromine, it exists in liquid state at room temperature. Gas, it is like chlorine. It exists, chlorine, it is a greenish yellow gas. Oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, they all are examples of gases. Non-metals, they are not malleable. That is, they cannot be beaten into thin sheets. Okay, they are not ductile. That is, they cannot be drawn into wires. And metals, they are not lustrous. That is, they do not have shiny appearance, except iodine. Iodine, it has luster. It is shining. Next, they are not sonorous. That is, metals, they do not produce a ringing sound on hitting. And non-metals, they are bad conductors of both heat and electricity. Okay, that is, they do not allow heat and electricity to pass through them. Okay, except graphite. Graphite, it is a good conductor of electricity. Though graphite is a form of carbon, but it conducts electricity. Electricity passes through it. So, graphite is a good conductor of electricity. Now, we'll come to uses of metals. use of metals. First one. You people, can you think? Metals are used in building machines. You know all the machinery items. Okay, they are made up of metals. Metals are used in building machines, automobiles. Aeroplanes, cars, etc. Isn't it? Metals are used in making machines, automobiles, aeroplanes, cars, etc. Next, people know copper and aluminium. Copper and aluminium are used in making electric wires. Are used in making electric wires. So people know, we discussed copper and aluminium are used in making electric wires. People know that at homes, copper, the electrical wires are made up of copper. Outside, for long distance, okay, aluminium wires are used. Next, gold and silver are used for making ornaments. Are used for making ornaments. You people know this. Since they are lustrous, they are used in making ornaments. Next, you people know this or not? Magnesium is used in making crackers. Okay, magnesium, it is used in making crackers. So there are wide uses, but only few uses I have taken. Uses of metals. Metals, they are used in building machines, automobiles, aeroplanes, cars, etc. And copper and aluminium, they are used in making electric wires. Gold and silver, they are used for making ornaments. And magnesium is used in making crackers. Next, uses of non-metals. Uses of non-metals. Oxygen, okay, which is used by all the living beings. Okay, it is a non-metal. Oxygen, which is essential for all living beings, is a non-metal. Next, people know or not, I don't know, nitrogen and phosphorus. They are used in fertilizers. Sorry, I wrote the spelling wrong. Phosphorus, not ROUS, RUS. So nitrogen and phosphorus, they are used in fertilizers. Why are fertilizers used? To increase the growth of plants. To increase the growth of plants. Chlorine is, you people know this, is used in water purification. Okay. Chlorine is used in water purification. So uses of non-metals, oxygen, which is essential for all living beings, it is a non-metal, isn't it? And nitrogen and phosphorus, they are used in fertilizers to increase the growth of plants. And chlorine, it is used in water purification. There are many other uses, but only 3 I took it. So today we discussed about the physical properties of metals and non-metals and uses of metals and non-metals. Next class we discuss about the chemical properties of metals. But before that, I want to give you some name of the compounds and name of acids, okay, so that you'll follow the other classes better. And for homework, see here, symbols of elements I had given, no, but that time you people had not got your notebooks, isn't it? So now the symbols of elements what I have given you, okay, you copy down that in your classwork. Okay, copy down whatever I have given symbols of elements, okay, write it in classwork. Okay, and how I have given like that only write. No using cursive handwriting to write the symbols of elements. Okay, and as well as in homework also, you write the symbols of elements once. Did you people understand this? So write the symbols of elements, okay, in both classwork and homework book. Did you people understand this? You are going to write the symbols of elements, okay, in your classwork, okay, and as well as in homework also, you are going to write them, okay, once only. In homework book also once only, and that's what is your homework right now. Okay, did you people understand this? So, see, I was supposed to start synthetic fibers and plastic, but actually I didn't have the textbook. That's why I started with the materials, metals and non-metals. After we do this, we do the synthetic fibers and plastic. Did you people understand this? So don't think that I don't do the lesson, I will skip and all. We will cover all the lessons. Okay, I just, as I didn't have my textbook, I took metals and non-metals. Okay, and homework is given, and I want you people to write very neatly, okay, in your classwork. Okay, not scribble and all. Okay, no overwriting, scribbling and all. Okay, write neatly in your classwork as well as homework. If you will bring it for correction, no, that time I will tear if it is not neat. Now only I am telling, so it's loud and clear. Okay, you are going to write very neatly in your classwork as well as homework. That is what is for today. Thank you. And another thing I forgot to say you, okay, classwork, you are going to keep 200 pages, okay, for chemistry and bio. For chemistry and biology, you are going to keep 200 pages notebook. Okay, what you are going to do is, I don't have any book. Okay, you are going to in a same notebook, you are going to bifurcate. One part you write chemistry, the other part you write biology. Did you people understand this? Keep a 200 pages notebook for chemistry and bio. One notebook only. In one notebook only, you will write chemistry and bio. How? Okay, you bifurcate. Divide the book into two. One part you write chemistry, the other part you write biology. Did you people understand this? This one I forgot to say you. So, and for homework, you're going to keep a 100 pages notebook. Okay, for homework, you're going to keep 100 pages notebook. For classwork, 200 pages, homework, 100 pages. Okay, thank you.